All right, picture this. I'm the new kid, standing in the bustling hallway of a school that smells vaguely like teenage dreams and yesterday's pizza. Anxiety digs its claws into me, whispering sweet nothings like, "You'll never fit in here." My backpack feels heavier than normal, each step echoing that first day of school dread. I've got that sort of low-key panic vibe going on. It's amidst this whirlwind that I stumble into a sight straight out of a bad 80s movie. A tangled slouch of bodies, jeering voices, the bullies, a necessary evil lurking in every educational institution, and I've somehow wandered into their territory. These guys have perfected their intimidation routine down to the artful rolling of one kid's gum in his mouth, a tactic that is as threatening as it is oddly mesmerizing. Just when I'm bracing for the worst, something shifts. Enter stage right, the rebellious student. Everyone knows him. Even the lockers might whisper about him when no one's around. He's got that sort of reputation that hangs in the air wherever he goes. Completely unfazed, a perpetual late-night TikTok vibe in human form. And then, in a move that defies all hallway etiquette, he steps in to save me. The bullies scatter like pigeons startled from a park bench, leaving me puzzled and catching my breath. There's something unnerving yet strangely comforting about this savior. I can't decide if I should thank him or check for hidden daggers, but in this moment, I'm simply grateful for the rescue. Don't ask me why he did it, though some say he might be working on the ultimate revenge plan, involving secret basement schools and perpetual detention rooms. There's the conspiracy theory that he's collecting allies among newcomers for some sort of endgame against the hierarchy, a bit like gathering Avengers with far fewer superpowers and way more angst. In the seconds that follow, our eyes meet, and although words are unnecessary, there's an implicit understanding that whatever's happening, it's not by chance. Somehow, I've been pulled into his orbit, the gravitational force as undeniable as the mystery surrounding him. Later, I overhear a rumor that his rebel status originates from an obscure loophole in school policy, claiming a student is exempt from detentions if they wear mismatched socks every single day, like a get-out-of-jail-free card, but for the educational system. It's contentiously debated, probably some underground Twitter thread. For now, though, I just stand there. The noise fades to a softer hum, the hallway smells shift to disinfectant and a hint of sour candy. I take a deep breath, feeling the atmosphere toughening my resolve. So begins my journey, one saved reputation and oddly intriguing ally at a time. As I stand there, surrounded by a cacophony of muffled voices and the shuffle of sneakers against the linoleum floor, a strange tranquility envelops me. It's the kind of quiet where you can almost hear your own heartbeat, reminding you that some moments stretch out longer than others, holding their breath and waiting for something important to happen. The new boy, the one whose shelter I inexplicably became, is positioned at the far end of the corridor, leaning against the locker with a slight slouch. His gaze is magnetic, drawing mine like the irresistible pull of the latest viral video into an unending algorithm loop. I wouldn't call myself a hero. Actually, I'm pretty sure the heroic archetype comes with way less sarcasm and more stoic bravado, not to mention an aversion to mismatched attire. But there's definitely something about him, a sort of quirky gravitational field that pulls those around him into his enigmatic sphere. I suspect that recent trend about quiet resistance might explain him wearing two different socks every day. Maybe his mismatched socks are more than fashion disobedience. Perhaps it's his cryptic nod to some obscure school mythology that circulates around Reddit threads populated by rebellion enthusiasts and sock aficionados alike. As for the why of my intervention, it really wasn't a calculated act of defiance, nor was it part of some elaborate plot involving underground corridors where students like us gather to manufacture secret agendas against authority. Tempting as it is to buy into the notion that this is all part of a wider conspiracy involving detention revolution and snack run liberation, the truth doesn't stick to any such script. Still, the speculative chatter is as thick as jelly beans during a candy sale, and I'm not denying that my thoughts have lingered on these outrageous theories once or twice. especially when whispers suggest an apocalyptic reckoning against the hierarchy, with rebels destined to triumph, warrior class, sarcasm level unknown. My mind bounces around ideas like a caffeine-loaded butterfly as each not-so-secret glance between us intertwines, sending signals I'm yet to decipher. Maybe we're drafting unwritten dialogues, like some overly dramatic plot twist, where our glances are portals to unexplored realms rather than mere acknowledgments. There's a sort of dreamlike haze that hangs in our eyes when we meet, like lost letters waiting patiently in the inbox, promising unexpected stories if delivered. The rumors keep bubbling, claiming he originates from an old line of nonconformists, each generation rebelling against systematic control through ridiculous loopholes and half-baked theories. But you never know how much of it stems from creative exaggeration or pure slumber party nosiness. Yet, embedded in these layers of rumor and imagination, something promises a quiet epic, a narrative that's unfolding, aware of its potential to be endless, multifaceted, and subtly transformative. So for now, our odd association forms in the insulated silence like soft wisps in cool night air, just as meaningful as any loud declaration. And thus continues my unassuming journey, one moment, one peculiar connection at a time. The rooftop at night feels like a secret world hanging above the ordinary, where two students, he and I, find ourselves enveloped in a cocoon of hushed whispers and gentle breezes. It's here, under the open sky, that we peel back the layers of our carefully crafted facades. The air is cool, tinged with a hint of lingering nostalgia, a perfect setting for the kind of conversations that dwell on the edge of vulnerability. We talk about everything, from the bizarre to the profound, often straying into the territory of conspiracies. Last week, he'd cheerfully tried to convince me that our school is built upon ancient energy lines, some kind of architectural feng shui gone rogue, possibly explaining the hiccups in the Wi-Fi connection. It sounded ludicrous, yet there was a strange comfort in such absurd musings, as if acknowledging the chaos outside made the chaos within a little easier to bear. He's got this quirky habit of calculating the likelihood of peculiar events, like determining the odds of finding a four-leaf clover on the soccer field, or, more ambitiously, engineering a revolution with nothing but an army of disgruntled janitors. It's these odd bits of information and hypothetical strategies that unravel threads of laughter between us, spinning warmth into the cool night air. Somewhere in our exchange of stories, we stumble into the crevices of our pasts. He shares bits of his family saga, tales of rebellion woven through generations, each relative a character in a tapestry of nonconformity. There's a gleam in his eye as he recounts these histories, as if he's living some ancestral echo, perhaps plotting an unexpected comeback or a subtle revenge on a world that seems intent on enforcing norms that don't quite fit. In these moments, his honesty invites my own, and I find myself divulging memories I've shelved long ago. It's in this dance of revelation that our connection deepens, morphing from a midnight meeting into a shared journey of healing. There's an unspoken understanding between us, a gentle nudge towards the idea that maybe, just maybe, these rooftop rendezvous are more than a temporary respite. We're slowly piecing together something real, something that could rewrite our individual narratives and send us spiraling into new territories. The rooftop, with its whispers of conspiracy and dreams of rebellion, becomes our sanctuary, a place where the act of being seen and seeing someone else in all their unguarded humanity feels like a triumph. Here, under the stars, in the presence of a friend who might just become something more, we begin to find solace in disclosure, weaving tales both factual and fantastical, a testament to the magnitude of human connection. As the cool breeze sweeps across the rooftop, I find myself immersed in the unfolding symphony of distant city sounds, their rhythm seeping into our conversation like an ambient soundtrack. The stars above serve as silent witnesses, flickering and winking down at us as if they understand the layers of complexity being unraveled, and maybe they do. We laugh at the oddities we've shared, each chuckle and grin weaving a subtle tapestry of camaraderie that grows ever denser with each passing moment. In the midst of these exchanges, an obscure piece of trivia finds its way into our dialogue, as if by magic. A tidbit about the history of chess and its supposed ties to espionage during the Cold War. A game not just of skill, but a quiet battlefield where minds clashed in the shadows of secrecy. The idea of knights and pawns doubling as undercover agents in a battle of minefields tickles a fancy neither of us knew was there. The notion lingers, coaxing a gravitas to settle between us, revealing just how much we enjoy these mental adventures, these conjured conspiracies that demand nothing, yet give us a reason to spar intellectually. There's something controversial about letting oneself be completely seen, in raw vulnerability. It borders on radical defiance against a society that demands polish and perfection. But here we are, under the blanket of the night sky, exploring and exploiting that audacious freedom. His stories dance between rebellion and meticulous calculation, each act of family insurgence a carefully orchestrated move in an ongoing game of personal vendettas. There's a shared appreciation in his voice for those tales of revolt, as though each anecdote is its own strategy against what has become an all too familiar norm. So I reciprocate, unveiling parts of me I've kept under lock and key. The act is neither a confession nor a cry for solace. It's more like sharing a secret ingredient list to a recipe only we know how to taste fully. Our narratives interlace, dissolving the boundaries of solitary woes. In this exchange, we defy the assumption that time heals all wounds. Maybe it's connection that spurs the mending process, a salve to past hurts by the mere act of unburdening them against a backdrop of shared rebellion. Slowly, the rooftop morphs into more than just an escape, a sanctum where conspiracies once whispered turn to lively debates, and revenge plans lose their sting in the comfort of shared humor. Through each revelation, we weave tales not merely factual, but infused with the fantastical, imagining alternate realities where space and mystery conspire to rewrite what was and what could have been. Together, under the cosmos, we embrace a narrative of understanding and quiet rebellion, connecting the dots between what was never meant to be alone. As laughter fills the void, the world below fades away, leaving only the impression that maybe, somewhere beyond the stardust and layered atmospheres, the universe conspires in sync with our intimate exchanges, validating the quiet defiance we present in merely being. This newfound silent devotion crept up on me unexpectedly, like catching the distinctive scent of petrichor after a long dry spell, a smell often likened to cosmic dust by the more astrologically inclined among us. It's not an immediate thunderclap of feeling, but rather a gentle rumble that nudges you awake to a world you hadn't noticed before. I find myself, more often than not, gravitating toward the corner where the shy boy often sits, ensconced in solitude as comfortable as a well-worn sweater. There's a serenity in watching over someone who, cloaked in their quietude, seems unaware of the quiet guardian lurking just beyond their periphery. It's oddly soothing, this act of unspoken vigilance. In the silence, my thoughts wander to the unfathomable possibility that gut bacteria may somehow influence mood and personality, a concept deeply buried in the realm of geeky debates we occasionally indulge in. Some conspiracy theories suggest they're puppeteers, directing our lives, subtly swaying destinies via microbial strings. But tonight, as I stand watch, it's not the microbes pulling at me, but rather the tangibly untangled threads of friendship and the whisper of something more profound, something softly rebellious in not needing to declare intention or emotion boldly. His presence is a living landscape of subtle expressions, a tilted head, a momentary pause, as he dives into the pages of a universe captured in ink and paper. The feelings simmer below the surface, like chess pieces strategically maneuvered in a serenity only broken by an unexpected twist, a perhaps naive hope that these dots forming between us might spread across a broader canvas. Despite my curious affection, beneath this calm demeanor, plans begin to unfurl. Not revenge, not exactly, but a notion that perhaps I could disrupt the world just enough to ensure his path crosses mine more frequently. It feels almost revolutionary in its potential impact, not to topple empires, but to alter the recurring pattern of daily life in a way only he and I, or maybe just I, would truly understand. As the day stretches to night, surrendering to the tranquility that whispers assurances we never articulate, I think of the sky above us, the endless cosmos cradling our exchanges and protecting our silent defiance against a universe that's busy racing forward without so much as a backward glance. It's here, amid starry constellations and distant planetary dances, that our exchange rests and grows, a devotion cloaked in laughter and the occasional mocking reference to the chaotic patterns of physics, our shared sanctuary, beneath a roof no longer just escape, but a bastion tenderly guarding a secret creation of connection. In this dimly lit room, we linger in a realm where vulnerability hides beneath layers of pretenses, much like the soothing soundscape of ambient rain or the delicate aroma of chamomile tea. There's a quiet rebellion in our presence, a steadfast silence that speaks volumes, a silent act of mutual courage devoid of grand gestures. I glance over at him, absorbed in his book, the moment captured in the gentle flicker of a candle casting shadows across his face. His eyes trace the sentences with an intensity that is subtly hypnotic, a man on the verge of discovering ancient mysteries lost in language. It's that infectious curiosity I've come to cherish, not unlike the obscure yet fascinating trivia about how certain butterflies can taste with their feet. Yes, life's oddities truly parallel our own. Our dialogue dips and flows, not just in words, but in shared glances and a symphony of unvoiced thoughts. Underneath it all, there lies a conspiracy of quiet fears, each of us safeguarding our essence, waiting for the other to unlock the protective layers of armor. The walls we build are like complex equations, seemingly impenetrable, but destined to be solved. In our odd reality, everything seems to tick with the precision of a hidden clockwork. Perhaps it's the subconscious plan I concocted, an abstract plot to loop us in a recurring orbit, mythological in nature, tilting the world just enough to make sure we collide more often. Not quite a masterstroke, nor diabolical, but a subtle realignment of cosmic probabilities. If revenge ever tasted sweet, it would surely resemble the flavor of the punch I've orchestrated here. With sensory details interwoven like threads in a tapestry, we navigate each interaction through the lens of our individual skepticism and obeisance to logic, a homage to the unexplained yet captivating balance between chaos and calm. And there we are, a living paradox, challenging the principles of gravity and liberation, finding ease within our natural rhythm. And in the soothing cadence of this unhurried night, as the wind gently brushes against the window, there exists a sacred space where hidden truths and candid confessions intermingle, a tapestry of two souls daring to weave a new narrative, fortified by mutual courage to explore unknown terrains. Amidst whispered uncertainties, I feel it, our silent revolution, nearly imperceptible, yet brimming with potential, a quiet intrigue electrified by the promise of what's yet to come. The rooftop is an oasis above the city, a place where rooftop gardens and scattered stars form an envelope around us, sheltering us from the mundane while binding us to greater mysteries. You can almost feel the pulse of the cosmos, or perhaps that's just my heart, but either way, the night holds its own gentle conspiracies. Here we find ourselves, two cosmic misfits leaning against the parapet, gazing out at a skyline that seems more like a geometry problem than a city. The buildings echo back our silence as we stand, wrapped in a kind of timelessness, punctuated only by the occasional car horn below. It's like being caught in a loop where each sound waves through levels of consciousness, hinting at unspoken truths. Tonight, the world is tilted just enough to make everything feel slightly off-kilter, slightly magical. I catch his eye and the universe ripples. It's funny how these everyday moments can carry such weight, a kind of delicious gravity. You wonder, is this destiny? Or perhaps it's just my elaborate plan working its magic, an alignment of stars I never consciously plotted. And if revenge ever tasted sweet, it tastes like the mutual awkwardness we share right now, somehow rewarding us for every deflection and sidestep we took to get here. The air hums with potential, and as the wind brushes past us, it whispers secrets that only starlit nights seem to understand. I glance sideways at him, trying to decipher the equations that make up his expressions, a symphony of subtlety where every note hints at hidden depths. It's like learning a new language, one where words are forgotten and only gestures and glances count. So much for language's superiority. Sometimes silence speaks louder. Around us, the night is woven with mysteries, a tapestry in which I find myself entangled, contemplating what is on the brink of revelation. His presence brings a reluctant ease to my chaos, and as we venture deeper into conversation, it strikes me how liberating it is to be unknown yet implicitly known. We dance on the edge of discovery, parting curtains of ignorance one courageous step at a time. And then there's an odd tidbit that comes to mind. Did you know the ancient Greeks believed that love was in the eye, shooting out beams like a superhero's vision? The thought tickles the fringes of my mind as I realize I've been trying not to stare. Somewhere between his laughter and introspective pauses, the revelation strikes. Maybe the truth of freedom lies in our unacknowledged affection for chaos. Here we are, aligning ourselves with cosmic probabilities, blessed under the stars. It's not what I planned. It's better. An inexplicable look at the irony of our existence, and somehow a damn precious one. Around us, the night is woven with mysteries, a tapestry in which I find myself entangled, contemplating what is on the brink of revelation. His presence brings a reluctant ease to my chaos, and as we venture deeper into conversation, it strikes me how liberating it is to be unknown yet implicitly known. We dance on the edge of discovery, parting curtains of ignorance one courageous step at a time. And then there's an odd tidbit that comes to mind. Did you know the ancient Greeks believed that love was in the eye, shooting out beams like a superhero's vision? The thought tickles the fringes of my mind as I realize I've been trying not to stare. Somewhere between his laughter and introspective pauses, the revelation strikes. Maybe the truth of freedom lies in our unacknowledged affection for chaos. Here we are, aligning ourselves with cosmic probabilities, blessed under the stars. It's not what I planned. It's better. An inexplicable look at the irony of our existence, and somehow a damn precious one. The rooftop is our secret haven, a sanctuary removed from the scrutinizing glances of academia and the monotonous pulse of daily life. Here, under the vast expanse of night, the stars are our silent witnesses, their twinkling presence casting an ethereal glow that somehow makes everything feel significant yet intimate. The air is crisp, carrying with it the faintest whisper of secrets yet spoken. It's as though the universe itself leans in to listen. I glance over at him, dark hair tousled by a playful breeze that's decided it's invited to our midnight rendezvous. There's an irony in the rebel aura he wears like a badge. Underneath, there's a vulnerability that resonates like an unsung note in a melody, waiting patiently to be heard. The rebel is, perhaps, not entirely rebellious, just courageously unguarded in moments such as these. Did you know, I begin, almost as an involuntary reflex to break the silence, in medieval times, folks believed garlic could ward off vampires. My voice almost floats through the air, buoyed by the night's serenity. Imagine cloves and cloves of it, draped around every neck, no garlic breath needed for seduction. He chuckles, a sound that dances along the edge of mischief and sincere amusement. It's a melody that subtly unfolds a map of emotions uncharted. Well, he replies with a teasing softness, if vampires are real, I guess we've got a fail-safe plan. Moments blend like watercolor on canvas, blurring lines between friendship and something palpably more. He shifts slightly, and for a heartbeat, the universe stills. His voice, drenched in honesty, cuts through the comfortable silence with a confession that feels like sunlight breaking through a monochrome sky. I might not have garlic, he begins, his eyes holding mine with an intensity reminiscent of storms requesting attention. But I do have something that'll keep chaos at bay, a heart that's way too invested in this moment, in you. It's as if the stars themselves have leaned in closer, drawn by the gravity of this truth-unveiling spectacle. My heart skips a beat, or perhaps several, as the impact of his words spreads warmth through the cool night air. Vulnerability pulsates between us like shared breath, marking the seconds of our intertwined existences as profound and irreplaceable. I'm not much for chaos, I admit, wondering vaguely whether logic or emotion gets to steer the next line in this conversation adventure. But you've managed to make sense of it in a way that feels suspiciously like home. As our words weave a comforting fabric of connection, I realize revenge plans carved from old grudges somehow pale in comparison to the power forged when one heart unites with another under conspiracy of stardust and whispered vows. Tonight, amongst cosmic calculations of probability, there's no room for the mundane, just two souls daring to explore a truth as beautiful as the night is infinite. And if freedom lies somewhere at the tangled edge of chaos and affection, then our newfound honesty under the silent prodding of stars is perhaps the clearest path we've ever charted. The air around us seems to shimmer as we let silence settle again, like a comforting blanket after that heartfelt confession. It's funny how words, simple as they may be, can hold the power to reshape everything. Imagine two people, unscripted, trading truths beneath a sprawling sky that whispers secrets of the cosmos. It's almost like sharing a hidden playlist with the universe itself. The night wraps us up in its cool, gentle embrace, and there's something inexplicably gratifying about feeling so attuned to the quiet rhythm of each other's breathing. I can feel an internal conspiracy forming, a cabal of affection plotting against the bitterness and chaos that once surrounded us. Those old revenge plans, cobbled together out of hurt and anger, suddenly seem comically inadequate next to the weight of genuine connection. As if responding to my thoughts, a moth flutters awkwardly between us, a reminder of how even the smallest beings seek light in the darkness. It feels like a little-known fact, almost absurd in its simplicity, but moths are drawn to the stars with a kind of reckless abandon, as if they too understand the comfort that lies in light. There's something quite controversial about surrendering to such vulnerability, yet here we are, guided by stardust. His eyes meet mine again, full of a sincerity that burns away the cobwebs of prior calculations, the sort of calculations one makes when crafting walls to defend against perceived threats. It's odd how those defenses crumble so silently, as if our shared truths are gently reminding us that chaos isn't something to be fought against, but possibly embraced. Perhaps revenge and chaos are just lost siblings waiting to find meaning in the warmth of healing. With every melodic silence hanging between us, we sketch an unspoken promise to remain here, in this moment where hearts are laid bare under celestial scrutiny, accepting chaos not as adversaries, but as elements woven into the fabric of our burgeoning love. In this conspiracy of mutual understanding, the infinite night shyly bows to the intimacy of human connection, granting permission for healing that once seemed just a distant possibility. There's a comfort in knowing that though the stars continue their eternal vigil, watching and waiting, tonight at least they're witnessing something akin to magic, a truth as unwavering and steadfast as the quiet sky above us. And in this sanctuary of shared breaths, dreams are no longer what fuel our nights. Truth and vulnerability become the stars we orbit around, daring us to explore what lies between chaos and calm. So here we are, standing at the brink of something undeniably fresh and stirring. The night air wraps around us like a soft, familiar blanket, whispering tales of the stars above, each a bright pinprick in the dark sky, guiding nocturnal travelers with a strange precision. Did you know each star was once considered part of a celestial script, predicting the fate of kings and wanderers alike? Each a silver-lettered footnote in the human story. There's something controversial about predicting destinies with constellations, I suppose. A cosmic conspiracy of sorts, where mankind tries to bargain with the stoic blessings of the sky. Between my friend and me, there's an invigorating sense of camaraderie that emboldens us to face the unknown without trepidation. As we stand shoulder to shoulder, breathing in rhythm with the gentle rustle of leaves, I can't help but feel a spark of rebellion, a familiar urge to redefine chaos, to not meet it with shields raised, but to embrace it like an old ally. Strange, isn't it? How anticipated catastrophe can feel less like a villain cast in shadow and more like an oddly sympathetic character nudging you towards the light. I wonder how many moth lives are risked for a glimpse of starlight, he muses aloud, his voice like a playful whisper through the night. It's a curiously amusing thought that dances between us like moths around a flame, teasing at the intrigue of elusive attractions that are both beautiful and perilous. Revenge on stars is as pointless as throwing arrows at the sun, I respond, the sarcasm just bold enough to tickle the edge of truth. We're crafting a sort of language with our words, blending intentions and reflections into the atmosphere that surrounds us, like a code only we understand. As we deliberate on the mechanics of chaos and creation, our shared life sketches thread together more seamlessly than before. There's a notion of trust here, a tacit agreement underlying every pause and glance shared beneath the unwavering gaze of these celestial witnesses. It's tempting, almost too easy, to believe that the stars are cheering us on, urging our every step into future adventures. What began as a quest for truth and understanding turns slowly into a celebration of vulnerability's bold beauty. The tactile reality of soft soil beneath our feet and the night's fragrant breath enriches each moment, inviting us to linger and imagine. We drift together into a space where superficial differences dissipate like forgotten echoes, and calculations woven around revenge plans unravel gently, making way for a lighter tapestry of hope and companionship. There's a kind of sleepy magic in this interplay, a sensory lullaby that envelops us, urging tranquility and stirring dreams that seem more tangible, more real with every passing heartbeat. Tonight, our stories breathe with new energy, alight with the fire of shared dreams and promising journeys. It's a comforting truth, like sleeping in bits of stardust enveloped by a night's endless possibilities. And as the stars take their eternal watch, we find ourselves ready, arm in arm, embarking upon a future so uncertain yet blazingly clear, trusting in our beautiful beginning.